Hello, I'm Stephen Cooley and welcome to the Stephen Cooley Real Estate Show. I'm very excited to have Scott Stegall back to the show. Scott's one of the top home inspectors in our area with Carolina HomePro. Scott, you do an amazing job for our clients, sellers who are getting ready to sell their home, buyers who are buying a home. You just inspected my personal purchases this year, did a magnificent job. So I wanted to bring an expert on, and what I want to talk about today with you is things that homeowners can do who are getting ready to go on the market and become a seller that can get prepared for the home inspector that the buyer has coming. Most of us have lived in our homes for a while. We don't crawl all over it like a home inspector is going to. And the buyer catches things wrong with our homes. And then we've got to use repair people who've got to get out there quickly and do it. Much easier to do it before a buyer's involved. So tips for homeowners getting ready to go on the market before the home inspector comes.
Okay, Stephen, I have what I call my big list. Starting off with number one is external water control measures, clean gutters, clean downspouts, looking in your crawl space if you do have a crawl space to make sure there's no water penetration in that crawl space. And when it's raining hard, are your gutters overflowing and discharging that water away from the foundation? You
know, with a home, water management becomes the number one thing over a long period of time, and the number one issue. You can have water going into the crawl space, creating damage, mold, dangerous molds, leaks that turn into major problems, tens of thousands of dollar problems. And oftentimes your homeowner's insurance doesn't cover these things that you've missed that aren't storm related and all. Such a huge thing.
Yes, it is. Moving on to probably another system that really needs to be evaluated is actually going in the crawl space. Not just seeing if there's water in the crawl space, having someone physically go in there and look for leaks or damage or any type of problem, like you said, fungal growth or something like that.
Again, water related.
Water related.
Absolutely.
Moving on into the interior, as a potential seller, you want to make sure your plumbing system is functional. All the sinks and water supply, all the drain systems are draining, have no leaks under the sinks or tubs or anything like that.
Yeah, because I've seen a leak under a sink turn into, again, tens of thousands of dollars, especially if it creates mold. And so definitely that's one of the big things.
Moving on to another one of the big guys, as I like to call them, is electrical. We see a lot of exposed electrical connections and terminations, safety concerns. They're all not only a safety concern for the current occupants, but it will be called out in a home inspection. So why do you live with a safety concern? You need to make sure that all these exposed wire connections, everything's functioning as intended and sealed up correctly. HVAC, let's talk heating and air conditioning. I highly recommend that you get it serviced and cleaned on a yearly basis. As home inspectors, we're going to be checking that, temperature differentials, installation, is the system functioning as intended. If you haven't had it cleaned or serviced in the last year, I highly recommend doing that. Not only can you foresee any problems with the home inspection, but you can save yourself some money. The next big item would be roofs. We have we see a lot of damage around plumbing boots. You can look from the ground and see there if they're cracked or not. You can look at the flashings on your chimney to see if it's separated. You can go in your attic and take a flashlight and look at some of these penetrations. That's normally where we're going to have the damage, is around penetrations and flashings.
And the roof is saving the whole house from all the elements going on from storm and wind. These boots don't last as long as the shingles.
Never.
And all that wind and rain and hail and everything is moving that flashing around, and it's such a huge issue. But usually roofs, unless it's a roof replacement, are inexpensive repairs. Those boots are not expensive, and that flashing's not expensive, but it again can cause major damage, especially into the inside of the home with paint and wallpapers and light fixtures and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, roofs are huge, yeah.
That's the major points of concern. Right. I'll also recommend that prior to your home inspection, that you make everything available for the home inspector.
Oh, yeah.
Move things away from the garage walls, in front of water heaters, in front of electrical panels, because, and you want to do that prior to that, because a lot of times you can see some things that are problems that you didn't know were there.
Absolutely. Two things I want to hit on while we still have time. Number one, a homeowner before becoming a seller, getting a home inspection a pre-home inspection so they know what's wrong with the home before the buyer does. What do you think about those?
I think that's wonderful. Number one, it makes the process a lot smoother. I like to say it takes some of the big humps out of the road.
Yeah.
You go in there, you find the major points of concerns, you have those corrected. Sometimes we find some major safety issues that you will be living with during that potential sale of the home or prior to selling the home.
Yeah. Homes age, things have wear and tear. Homes, again, get the brunt of storms because they're protection, their roof's over our head, right? I'm not home much, so I get a home inspection every 36 months on my home to make sure that I catch items. It's shocking that you provide a list, I get them fixed, 3 years later, there's a new list because homes age.
Yes, they do.
And so I even encourage, especially bigger homes and older homes, get the home inspection while you own it. Maybe every 3 or 4 years, just so you can stay on top of these little things that become big things if you don't know it. And I'm not someone who crawls on my roof or goes under my house, so it's really important for me to have that. Also, we're in an area with termites and other wood-boring insects, so you definitely want to maintain that and stay on top of that too, right?
Yes, sir. I highly recommend a termite treatment if there's never had one, if you don't know when the last one was, if you purchased a home, and get under a bond or a service agreement to have someone go in that crawl space on a yearly basis. Not only they're looking for termites, they can come out, the pest control guy, and say, hey, you got a leak. And before that leak's cost you $20,000, you can fix it for $1,000.
Yeah, I've seen so many sellers, homeowners have a bug treatment every few months, but it's spiders and roaches and all that. And we said, what about a termite treatment? And they said, well, no one's treated or checked for termites in 30 years. So you got to get specific and say, I want a termite bond on my home to make sure that we never get those. We're in an area that there are bugs that eat people's houses, and that can cost tens of thousands of dollars too.
Oh yeah, 100 colonies per acre here in South Carolina.
That is incredible. Scott, if it's a homeowner wanting a inspection on their home, if it's a seller getting ready to sell and want a pre-inspection, or if someone's buying a home, and they should definitely get that home inspected, including new construction, tell folks how to make an appointment with you to get one of those inspections.
Okay, you can reach us at 803-242-9588 or carolina-homepro.com.
Again, Scott's my personal inspector, and I've done thousands for our clients over, we were just talking earlier, 20 years.
20 years, sir.
Yeah, so thank you for 20 years of great service to our clients.